Time for the last college football Wednesday of the season. All right, everybody, good morning. It's Wednesday, and you know what time it is? Although it won't be this time next Wednesday, or the Wednesday after that, or any Wednesday for a little while, because the college football season, as far as big sweeping schedules of games, is over. We've got some conference championship games next week. We've got bowl games. We've got the playoff, but it's pretty much over. In terms of prospect watching, we might still do it, but it's going to be far more sporadic, and there's going to be a lot less to talk about from week to week. So this is pretty much it, guys. We're going to do one video now for the offense. We're going to do another video in a couple hours for the defense, and that's it. We're done. So obviously this series is one of the least viewed series that I do. In fact, let's be real here. It is the least supported series I do by far. I still like to do it just because this is the stuff I need to be doing anyway for the draft stuff when that kicks off in the off season. But I know this won't necessarily be missed by that many people because this is a niche topic. You have to be a particular kind of person to really get into draft stuff this early. But I am that particular kind of person, and I do have some viewers who are, so for that, it's great. But, yeah, this is the end of the line here, and again, I look at this draft class and I find myself on the offensive side wishing it was a little bit better, right? Like, I'm really bored of this quarterback class. About the only excitement we've gotten in the last couple weeks has been Curtis Rourke, and he laid that egg against Michigan, so you can only get so excited about him, but he injected new life into this conversation at least. Other than that, it feels like every week we're talking about the same people, half of which I don't even value that much. Like, let's go through the guys who performed well this week. You got Carson Beck leading Georgia to that dramatic come-from-behind win against Tech. 5 touchdowns, almost 300 yards, 28 of 43. It was a great game, 8 overtimes, but, I mean, do I want Carson Beck? No. Not unless he's there in day 3, I guess. I don't see much there. 80.8 PFF grade. I mean, he's good, right? He's good at college football, but NFL football, I don't think that's in his bag. And then Shedeur Sanders had another really good game. 438 yards and 5 touchdowns, a pick, 88.6, but he's going to go in the top 5 picks unless he completely tanks his draft stock in the offseason by saying or doing something dumb, which is possible. And even if he does tank his draft stock and fall to the latter portions of the first round, I don't know if that's something I even want to touch, because the stuff outside the lines of football is a little alarming to me. You got Cam Ward's great, and he had another great game for Miami, 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, 91.8, but he's going to be gone in the first 3 picks almost certainly. There's no way he's getting anywhere near wherever Seattle picks, not in this class. And Kyle McCord, I mean, look, Kyle McCord has closed this season out really well at Syracuse, and I got to admit, better than I would have expected based on what he was doing at Ohio State last year. 380 yards and 3 touchdowns to ruin Miami's season, 91 PFF grade. But we saw that guy at OSU. He's not that kind of quarterback, so is Kyle McCord somebody that you want to be betting your franchise on? I don't think so. I think that he's a career backup in the NFL, and that's about it. And then Curtis Rourke, like I said, he's kind of the wild card here for Indiana, and I like him. 350 yards, 6 touchdowns, 90.4 PFF grade. He played really good, but he's not a blue chipper. He's not. And this draft, maybe Cam Ward has elevated himself to blue chipper. I could be talked into Shedeur Sanders being a blue chipper just because of the talent, but there's nobody else you can even begin to talk me into on that level in this class. I'm sorry, it's just, I'm bored of these quarterbacks, guys. I don't know what else to say. Honestly, Cade Klubnik is still one of the guys that I like. I like Drew Allar. There are a couple guys that are kind of interesting, but they're certainly not blue chippers. And half the weeks, they don't even play that good. So that's it for the quarterbacks. Wide receivers, though, this week was bad, man. There were 2 guys. Yoel Manor of Stanford had a really good game. 10 catches, 109 yards, only 12 targets, so very efficient, 70.8. And Xavier Restrepo, who kind of blew the season for Miami by losing a fumble in that game. So even that game was like, okay, you did a lot, 9 catches, 148 yards, a touchdown, only 11 targets, but cool. You kind of blew the season with that fumble because in that game you couldn't afford to do something like that because of the way the defenses were playing, and one mistake could ruin the game, and you made the mistake and it ruined the game. So I don't know what happened this week, man. Everyone else was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. There was that UCF guy, Kobe Hudson, and he had a pretty good game, but then you look at it and you're like, oh, he dropped 3 passes and got targeted 16 times to make 7 catches? Nuh-uh. Feels like a lot of the guys weren't even playing this week, like they're resting or they're dealing with nagging injuries or something. I don't know. It wasn't very good at all. Tight end was good though. Tight end, I like tight end. Tyler Warren continues to be one of the more fun players in the NFL. 6 catches, 9 targets for 68 yards and a touchdown. 3 carries for 32 yards. He threw a 9-yard pass. So I don't know what we got here, but Tyler Warren is fun, and I think he's a first-round pick now. I'm not sure, but I think he is. 76.4 PFF. I'd take him in the first round and feel pretty decent about it at this point. I like him a lot. Mitchell Evans at Notre Dame had a nice game. 5 catches, 59 yards, only 6 targets, 1 touchdown, 75.7. Jack Velling of MSU. He's been kind of lurking in the background as a day 3 guy. Maybe day 2 now. 5 targets. I'm sorry, 5 catches, 77 yards, 6 targets, and a touchdown, 78.4. John Michael Gillenborg, the Wyoming guy, 4 targets, 4 catches, 5 targets, 61 yards and a touchdown, 65.6. And Gunnar Helm of Texas, 6 catches, 56 yards, 7 targets. So everybody's pretty efficient. Everybody's doing their job. 70.1 PFF grade. It's nothing overwhelming, but some pretty notable, impressive performances. I mean, Tyler Warren had 100 yards from scrimmage. And he's doing that pretty consistently every week ever since we got past like the midpoint of the season. It feels like every game they're just spamming him the ball whatever way they need to. So it's starting to shape up a little bit in the tight end room, but you're not going to find any superstars here. I think maybe Tyler Warren could be like a star. I could see that, but there's certainly no Brock Bowers. There may not be another Brock Bowers for another generation, though, so that's not even really a criticism. Okay, left guard. There was a pretty decent selection of left guards this week. The Alabama crew, Tyler Booker, Alabama guy, Tyler Booker, not crew. Alabama ran the ball well, although they did run the ball a lot in that game. They had like 50 attempts or something, almost 50. 3.7 yards per carry, but over 200 yards. No pressures allowed for Booker, 64.7, pretty good game. Tate Ratledge, the Georgia guy who's playing right guard, but I think he has the skill set for left. No pressures allowed, 108 rushing yards, which was 4.2 yards a carry, which is not bad. 64.3. Armand Membo of Missouri, 0 pressures allowed, 193 rushing yards by Missouri's offense, 4.1 yards a carry, nothing over the top, but pretty good, 62.3. And by the way, Membo's playing tackle, but he's playing out of position. Pretty much everybody agrees. The other Georgia left guard, 1 pressure allowed for Dylan Fairchild. 74.4 PFF grade, though. Really quite good. And Joshua Gray, who's kind of become a forgotten man here, but I'm still got my eye on him from Oregon State, the Beavers. 0 pressures allowed. They ran the ball efficiently. They just didn't run the ball very much. 116 yards, but 5.8 yards per carry. 74.1. So still have my eye on him as like a super late round sleeper that has left guard reps because he's playing left guard for Oregon State right now. Only 2 centers this week really caught my eye. Not a great week for centers. Jared Wilson, he's almost always here, the Georgia guy. That interior Georgia line always finds itself here, I feel like. He allowed 1 pressure, 108 rushing yards, which is okay. 70.8 PFF. And Jake Slaughter of Florida, another super late round sleeper. Florida had a really good game running the ball, 235 yards, 6.2 yards a carry. And Slaughter allowed 0 pressures, 76.6. So that's good, but there wasn't a lot going on at the center position. It's not a very good center class, which is why I'm hoping that unless Oluwatimi can really, really whip butt these next 5 games plus, that we look at moving Christian Haynes to center, because I want to take care of that in-house, because I don't really like the options if we go out of house. And right tackle, not bad this week. Emory Jones Jr., haven't talked about him in a while. He's had kind of a weird year. Overall, I think that he's still clearly very talented and clearly somebody that you would want from LSU, but I don't know. The play has been just kind of, it hasn't been next level like you would hope from a guy who's going to be a first-round pick. Allowed 1 pressure in this game. LSU ran for less than 4 yards a carry, 110 yards. 70.3 PFF grade is good, but I don't know. I never came away from this season feeling like Emory Jones Jr. was some lock-it-down first-round guy the way that I felt multiple guys in last year's draft were. Like, there were several right tackle prospects in last year's draft that I really liked, and I think I liked most of them better than Emory Jones. But he's not bad at all. Johnny Cornelius, the Oregon guy, I mean, I saw it up close and personal. Oregon played very well, and Cornelius is not an exception to that. 0 pressures allowed. Oregon ran for over 220 yards, 6 yards a carry, 79.9 PFF. We got Blake Miller here of Clemson. He didn't allow any pressures. And by the way, Miller's a guy who has been moving from left side to right side this year. This game he did play on the right side, but he's played some left side this year and held up well. Clemson ran the ball for about 140 rushing yards, 4.3 yards a carry, 69.8. And final guy is another UConn guy. We've talked about him once before, Chase Lunt. He's starting to make some waves here. 1 pressure allowed, almost 260 rushing yards, 6.6 yards per, and a 69.9 Pro Football Focus grade. So that's it. Not the best week, honestly. I've definitely seen better weeks. We'll get to the defense a little later. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Enjoy it while it's here, because it won't be here much longer.